Alright, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is DJ Kelly, and I am your host this evening with my lovely co-host, Mr. Stewart.
Thank you, thank you.
Here tonight is a very special version of Ladies' Night. We have some of the Crichton Herald staff with us as well for a lovely little interview. So I'll go ahead and let them introduce themselves, and we'll start with the owner, creator, content writer, Miss the lovely Fornax.
Hi, I'm Fornax. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Herald, and I'm very happy to be on Black Star Radio tonight.
Hi, I'm Krista, and you could say that I'm partly responsible for helping Fornax get this thing up and running, and thanks for having us on.
Very much so.
I'm Larissa, and I'm the editor-in-chief, I guess, right now for the Tarnished Coast version, working on the in-character stuff a little more. And yeah, thanks for having us.
And I'm the last one. I'm Gyrox, and basically I assist Fornax in some of her daily Crichton Herald, how do you call it?
Slog.
Tasks. Yeah. And I'm mostly doing out-of-character reports, and thanks for having us.
Oh, it is our pleasure, 100%. I'm so glad you guys could join us this fine evening, or shall I say early morning, for you guys.
It's only 4 a.m., we're good.
So we'll go ahead and kick it off here, and we'll start off with a question here for you. And how about you go ahead and let us know how you guys got started with the Crichton Herald?
Who wants to field that one? I'll take this one at the moment. It came about really from our Pike and Square Guild, the Red Lion Syndicate. We had an in-game guild event, which ended up with 3 of the guild members being wanted by the Lions Guard. So we threw this idea at Fornax and said, could you possibly knock up a few wanted posters, which she went away and did, and 15 to 20 minutes later came back and said, what do you think of these? At which point we kind of went, wow, that was fast. Next thing you know, a few days later, we've got a few reports from our in-guild stuff that was going on. And lo and behold, the first issue of the Crichton Herald appeared as an in-guild sheet to start off with, and then Fornax took it and ran with it from there.
Yeah, I mean, it was when they were doing the RP, I'd already started doing a little journal. It's called the Book of Awakening, and it's like a personal journal of my character. And because I had all the templates set up, it's on parchment, and it looks very kind of akin to the world that the Guild Wars 2 is set in. So when the guys said, "Oh, we need some wanted posters," I kind of grabbed that template and used it, and it was kind of a natural evolution. And the guys, they supported me so much and gave me so much encouragement. They made me really want to kind of see where we could take this thing.
Alright, and I noticed that you guys got recognized by Guild Wars 2 Facebook page recently. How did that make you feel?
What?
You just dropped the bombshell on us. I personally hadn't noticed that.
Ah, yes, it was shared on the Guild Wars 2 Facebook page a couple of weeks ago. They shared it as well.
Oh God, we missed it completely.
Surprise!
Hooray!
I'm doing too much work.
I'm creating too many to look at what's happening.
Alright, well, we'll go ahead and go off to the next question here. I noticed that it is a role-playing Herald, and you guys actually roleplay in game, yes?
Guilty.
Okay. And how did you guys get started in role-playing and become part of the Guild Wars 2 world in your own setting, per se?
I'll start this one off then. Some of us met back in another game, the Star Wars MMORPG. Most people probably know it. And well, we had so much fun together. We wanted to do this guild thing in Guild Wars as well. So we created this guild, and we got some people involved. We talked about what kind of guild do we want to be, and the role play just actually it took it from there, and having fun ever since.
All right, and so do you guys actually like role play in the game and then write it up as the Herald, or how does that work exactly?
Well, we have in-game reporters who are on the servers who attend events for other RP guilds and report on them. Larissa does a lot of that for the Crichton Ministry, and he is absolutely fantastic at it. And we have creative writers, so it's a fan fiction outlet as well. So if any of your listeners want to see their creative writing kind of made into a Herald edition, they all they have to do is send it in. Please proofread it, and somebody's interested, and we'll publish that. So we do in-game stuff. We're doing reviews, which Gyrox is taking on. But he's going to be doing a Tomb Raider review because he actually finished the game already.
Oh my goodness! Didn't that just come out yesterday?
Yep.
Yeah, he is like, wow. I've only just got out of the cave. So that's us. We do both role-playing in-game for personal pleasure. We produce journals. We advertise for guilds as well. So if they've got a big event coming up and they're trying to drum up interest in the community, we'll make them. I do all of them actually. I make them a poster, and we roll from there. But I mean, the writers are fantastic. We've got about 15 to 20 writers now, I think. God, it's gone crazy. And they write the stuff, they go out, they're all independent, they all work really hard, and they bring back the stuff for me, and I'll edit it, and I produce the articles, and it's a big team effort. I mean, I am at the workface making the articles and making every edition, but it wouldn't be anything really without all the writers and all the help of the people who are around me.
Awesome. So give us like a little bit of history of the Crichton Herald. Like, I know it's set in Guild Wars 2. Are you guys like interested in like expanding to new games, or like are you just focused on Guild Wars 2 right now, or like what is the history of it?
We are going to. I don't want to talk for everybody, but we are. I have said that if there are other games who are interested, at the moment there's a game coming up called Wildstar, and it's another MMO RPG, and I've put on their forums if they're interested, and there's been a big response, and people really like the kind of interaction fan fiction type of thing, and yeah, we're open. I'm open if people want to create and they're interested in the Crichton Herald moving over to their universe. Yeah, they just have to drop me a line. We'll certainly be interested in that.
Okay, and how do you feel now that your paper is becoming well known in the gaming universe? How does it make you guys feel?
Well, I have to say, from a small start within our own guild on Pike and Square, for it to have been picked up so well and embraced so brilliantly by Tarnished Coast, I mean, it's just one day it was a couple of issues, and then all of a sudden it was like a massive explosion of articles and screenshots and everything else, and people just wanting stuff, and how Fornax churns it all out is beyond me.
Condor Primulon, greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen, and whatever is in between. Thank you so much for joining us here on this special edition of Ladies Night. It is I, the man with the plan, DJ Stewie, along here, DJ Kelly.
Hola!
And we have a wonderful show for you today. We are here with the Crichton Herald. I can't believe it. I thought I was drinking, I thought I was dreaming, but guess what, I'm not. So, we're going to go right down to the nitty-gritty. I've written a couple of questions because I am a fan of the Crichton Herald. We were talking about events and things like that. I know you guys did the charity ball not too long ago. Was that like one of your first ever charity balls, charity events and things like that? Person, I'd have to say, Hornex. The answer?
I'm gonna have to say Larissa because she did it.
Oh!
Passbook.
Oh, good. Yeah, actually, I think the turn of the year was the first time that we put out any articles for the Tarnished Coast anyways, and the charity ball, the Winterfest, was the main one.
Okay. Interesting. I think this is probably one of the bigger questions for me as a para role player and things like that. What triggered you to roleplay? What triggered you to literally just say, "Hey, you know something? Guild Wars 2." I mean, I'm not saying just, in general, like Guild Wars 2, for the Crichton Herald and things like that.
I can tell you my own personal experience. I am a reformed hardcore raider. I raided in WoW. I raided 5 nights a week. We did all the hard modes and all the content, and I lost the will to live on the loot treadmill. And I loved the story, and I cared more about the story, more about exploration than I did about the loot and the achievement. And so I went over to a WoW RP guild called Ebon Flame, which were a lovely guild, and they're still going now. And then I progressed over into Star Wars because I'm a big geek and I love Star Wars. Massive fangirl of that. And because of my friends that I made in Star Wars RPing, I moved over. I was going to play Guild Wars anyway, but I moved over with them into the Red Lion Syndicate and RPing with them there. So that's me.
Anybody else want to share their experience? Personal experience?
For me, well, I made a transition going from tabletop RP to actual role-playing in games. After all, sitting on a table having a laugh with friends is a bit different than in games, and I started trying it in Star Wars, and I got the hang of it, and I enjoyed it so much I just couldn't stop. And now basically every night I'm walking around through town and having random roleplay everywhere I go.
Yep, like Gyrox, I started way back in the mists of time for me, at secondary school in the UK. A group of my classmates started to play first ed D&D with the old red rulebooks. We played that for a couple of weeks. For me then, role-playing kind of died down for a bit, and then I found a local role-playing club, which had 30, 40 role-players crammed into a pub basement every Monday night for 4 or 5 hours. But for me, really, role-playing took off when West End Games released the Star Wars role-playing game, at which point a little boy who grew up in George Lucas's universe went, "Oh, lots of stuff here, I'll play that." To which, this day, I'm still running Star Wars campaigns. MMO-wise, I started on City of Heroes. Back when that was released, I got myself involved with the Game Amp network, so I'm used to communities. But my first role-playing online would really be an old Yahoo board Star Wars game, which had 50 to 60 people playing at its height. Then I moved on to Warcraft, and like most people, got onto the raiding gear treadmill, and for 4 years, well, 4.5 years, ran a very successful UK raiding guild on Asjal Nerub called Flare, which came to an end with a few personal problems that I had, which I really won't go into here. Once that had finished, when the new Star Wars game came out, I kind of dived into that and GM'd a role-playing guild on that. And then when Guild Wars 2 came out, myself and one of my guild members came over, bumped into Gyrox and said, "Oh, you've got a role-playing guild, we'll join," and that's where it's been for me.
That's actually pretty deep. Oh my goodness. In Guild Wars 2, could you describe your characters?
Sure. I'll jump in here. My character Larissa is a young noblewoman. She's grown up in a house full of a lot of politics and things in behind the scenes that she didn't know about until she got of a certain age. Then she was introduced to those and realized there was a whole other world of stuff happening that she hadn't realized. Whole other people that were sorry, there's a bunch of pinging here. A whole bunch of other stuff that's happening that she didn't know about, and that really a lot of the events and everything she was seeing were being controlled, basically puppeteered by at least one group that she knew about. So she participated, joined that group for a while, found out that there wasn't a place for her, and has come through a lot of different journeys to get to where she is now, which is separated from her house, separated from the group that were puppeteering everybody, and is now editor-in-chief of the Herald, and is taking a little bit more of a turn against corruption and hoping to expose it.
Okay.
Well, about my character, Gyrox, he's a middle-aged man. He traveled a lot in his younger years, and then he got stuck in Lion's Arch, because back then it was a giant mess, gangs, thieves, and you know, everything that comes with it. So murder, gang fights, and back then, in our story, Lion's Arch was under the reign of a man who was, let's just say, not the kindest man. So people banded together, and they defeated this evil man. Those people who banded together, that became the guild that he is in now, the Red Line Syndicate. We were going with the initial idea that we wanted to be no leadership in this guild in character, so everyone had an equal say in it. During our adventures, things didn't go as smoothly as we wanted, so in characterly, Gyrox actually took control. He had some backing up from the other members, and then became the leader of the Red Line Syndicate as it is now. We have several. He is involved in several plot lines. At the moment, the group, their goal is to keep Lion's Arch safe and making sure that no gangs or whatever will rule this town. So they've become known as a sort of a vigilante group within Lion's Arch, amongst other guilds, and that's quite funny. And recently he became a Lion Guard officer, so he just got a big target on his back. Probably won't live much longer, but yeah, that's my character.
So, the surprising thing is, for the first time in a while, my main character isn't Kristar. My main character is a young 16-year-old thief called Jaden Saren, and he has a twin brother, which is played by a friend of mine. And yes, they are identical twins. They tend to dress the same. They had a hard life growing up on the streets of Divinity's Reach. They are both trained in certain things that people would frown upon, really. They steal, they're cheeky. My character certainly backchecks Gyrox on many occasions. Most recently being our RP event tonight, where I got shouted at yet again. But yeah, Jaden for me is just fun to play. He's different to what I normally play.
I guess you'll probably want to know about Fornax. She's the in characterly like editor-in-chief of the Pike and Square, and kind of the head honcho of the whole shebang. Her story is her family is from Alona, of the royal house. They're obviously not the royal house because of Palawa Joko and his undead legions basically ruling Alona with an iron fist, so they fled. They're kind of exiled nobles. Their ship was beset by the Risen as it came through the straits past Malkor's Reach, and Fornax and her three sisters washed up on the shore, where they were rescued by a Salvari called Asphodelis and taken to safety, and she was raised in the grove with her three sisters, and later moved to the Divinity's Reach, where the mantle of their kind of power was beset upon them, and they now work. Fornax ran the paper as a cover so that she could actually take on espionage jobs across Tyria without raising suspicion, and the other two sisters work in espionage for the crown, which is, fairly cheesy but fun.
Wow, that is a lot of work into characters. I don't think I could go that far.
It usually happens all by itself. As soon as you start playing a character, the story develops.
I think personally it's a type of mental illness that we've all developed. But
well, if that's the case, I have gotten the mental illness as well.
I must have it pretty bad because I must have it pretty bad then, because I've got a twin brother who's played by a completely different person.
Alright, so I've just got a few questions here. Obviously you guys write a lot, and what do you guys do to overcome writer's block?
It's called banging your head against the desk.
I'm sure that would hurt a lot.
Most of the time... Oh, okay. We're all...
Oh, go ahead, Brissa.
Oh, okay. For me, personally, if I get writer's block, it's a case of putting it down, walking away and leaving it. Because there's no point sitting there staring at a page thinking that it's going to write itself. If you're not in the right mind frame to write something, there's no point in trying to force it. If you force it, it's not going to be the piece that you want to write. So I tend to just walk away, or I'll go and listen to a piece of music and try and get some inspiration from that, whether it be an artist from the charts, a piece of soundtrack music, or I'll go and watch TV or something. I'll just take my mind completely off it and come back to it.
Okay. I guess I'm lucky because a lot of the stories are fed to me. So a lot of the stories we're reporting on something that's happened. So it's just a case of making the story interesting and emotive. So you've already got the material. You don't have to sit there and pull things out of your ear. You have material to work with, and because there's such a rich universe, unless you're writing about something that's very personal that you have to really create yourself, you can draw on a lot of the elements of the game and the fantastic team that Guild Wars 2 has for writing, and the art as well is inspirational by itself. So I guess I'm lucky, but I totally agree with Cry. It's if I get stuck, if I get mentally constipated, I I have notes. I write down the notes. I write down the things that I really want to get across. And if it's not coming out, I go and do something else.
Like Crystal said earlier, for me, music is a big part of it. If I'm stuck, I'm just putting the music on that gets me that kind of mood of the mood that I want to get across, and then it usually comes on its own. So I blame the music for it.
And
For me, I just find something else that I do for a while that I will hate more, and that will drive me back to writing easily. Also, music is like they say, a very nice way to get into a mood to write. But for me, if I try to force it, I'm sitting there going, and as soon as something shiny comes along, I'll lose my attention and I'll go off and do it, and hopefully I'll come back, and eventually I'll do the writing.
all right, and that actually brings us to another question that I had for you guys. Obviously, we are a radio station, so we play a lot of music and stuff for the listeners. So if you guys could pick a band or a song that inspires you the most to write, what would it be?
Well, for me, it is. There's one song which I listen to a lot when I try to get, when I'm concentrating when I'm writing, and it's from Nine Inch Nails. We're in this together, and it's just brilliant.
That is a good song.
For me, I kind of stopped listening to music a while ago, modern music. So I like Pearl Jam, and for me, I like Garden. I like that song. It's really dark and rich, and yeah, that gets me kind of thinking.
I've found John Williams' Star Wars soundtracks tend to put me into a writing mode that I got used to whilst role-playing on the Old Republic. And there's just sometimes John Williams' soundtrack will just pick you up and move you somewhere else. It doesn't have to be Star Wars, it just has this effect on me that I can actually do what I want to do, and it comes out a lot better when I've listened to one of his pieces of music.
Right.
For me, I've been listening to a lot of the YouTube epic music, because generally people put a fair amount of thought into those. And it'll only usually take a few of those to really get the inspiration going, the feeling of overcoming great odds or whatever it is at the moment.
Fantastic. Alright, this song right here is going out to Calandra.
Everybody wanna know how it feels. Everybody wanna see what it's like. Well, baby, wanna be the queen. Well, alright, we all deserve to find the peace in this life. So I'm working on a little job in the night. There's $40 an hour. See the light. The boss is saying a little time. say for you and me, I'll say it's gonna put some love in your life. Don't you really wanna know how it feels? Everybody wanna see what it's like, but you even wanna be inside. It ain't lies. We all know there's better things in this life.
Alright guys, welcome back. Welcome back. We are still doing our lovely interview with the Crichton Herald staff. And this mic break is all about them. They're going to give you their in-game name, a little bit about their guild on the Tarnished Coast side of things, and talk about Pike and Square as well, and give you guys some more information about them. So, whomever wants to take over is now your chance.
You mean there's an option? Excellent. This is Larissa. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Tarnished Coast Crichton Herald. Recently promoted, so now I get to do a bunch of the work that Fornax has laid out and make things happen. Primarily, what I'll be working on is doing a lot of the in-character, in-game stuff. I'm trying to get the reporters together, meet and greet for the first time here soon in the next week or so, figure out where all the specialties are, who wants to do what, who wants to become the crime reporter, or who wants to do the ministry, politics sort of stuff. Figure that all out, and then whenever we get in-game inquiries, hopefully be able to feed those stories to those particular reporters first, keeping them well supplied with a lot of in-character stuff to do.
We're actually recruiting, so we're always looking for new writers for the Herald, for both European and North American editions. So if you are interested in joining the guild, you can transfer across to the Tarnished Coast and join RPly in the role-playing guild, or you can write from your own server, and we're happy to make another edition for you, especially for your server, so that we can help out the communities there. But yeah, we are looking to expand our in-game presence on both the Pike and Square and the Tarnished Coast, because we really want to get involved in the communities. It's one thing to have a lovely outlet on the forum, and it can very much enrich the roleplay experience, but we want to be in there on the ground, helping the RP along, and having some real fun with it.
Okay, and how would they contact you? Like your contact information and stuff like that.
Well, for me, my contact information is Fornax7928. And people can add me to their friends, and I will friend them back, and they can contact me in game, or they can contact me on the Crichton Herald Facebook page. So if you just pop Crichton Herald into Facebook, you can find me there. We're on Twitter, the Crichton Herald on Twitter. So you can I tweet every time we put out a new edition, so you never have to miss one. And also, we're actually part of the Engine community website. So if you type the Crichton Herald into Engine, you can pop along to our website and get in touch with us there.
And really in game as well, we're being found out a lot. Our characters are present at a lot of the major events. We've written articles on it. Largely the Engine has helped a lot there, as well as the Guild Wars 2 roleplayers.com web server. We're being recognized in game, which is great. I've had a number of people come up to Larissa, my character in game, and ask if I'm willing to do something, or will send me in-game mail, giving me a heads up on something. But primarily, yes, they can contact us either through the Herald webpage itself, or in-game. Mine name as well is Fyne, FHYNE .9854, if they want to contact me that way, or again, Larissa.
And for you guys who are listening, if you go to the Black Star Radio webpage and click on gaming, you'll have to scroll down like 2 or 3 articles. You will see some articles posted of the Crichton Herald, and in each article there is a banner and a Facebook page link where you can click on the banner, which will take them to the website, or the Facebook, which will take you to the Crichton Herald Facebook page. So there's many ways to get in contact with them.
We try to be as accessible as possible.
Perhaps it's maybe good to call out as well, because the guild on the Tarnished Coast is like they said, it will be dealt with by Larissa as editor-in-chief. Though on Pike and Square we're still sorting things out, seeking someone who would like to take the lead in there. Fornax being busy with all the artwork, all the proofreading and everything. She's a very busy woman, so she can't do it herself. And well, myself being a guild leader in a role-play guild as well takes up a lot of time. So if there's anyone out there who thinks they would make a great chief, don't be shy and get in touch.
Yeah, I really am looking for someone to run the Pike and Square Herald in characterly. And basically, they come along, they can take the guild where they want. The only kind of limitations is that it has to be racially neutral, and it has to be run neutrally, so that everybody from the crime guilds to the crown can actually use the Herald in characterly. But yeah, I'm looking for a GM, a guild master, to run my online guild, because I'm just so busy. I have created every single edition, and until someone can catch up with how I do it, which hopefully will be not too long, I'll be creating every single edition into the future as well.
Yes, and we don't want to break her, so please, somebody step up.
That would be an awful thing.
Yeah, I am actually making them in my sleep now as well, so please somebody help me.
Oh Lord, you're dreaming of the Herald while you're sleeping.
I that's not a joke either. That's really happening now.
Oh no. So you guys are looking for more reporters, correct?
We're looking for all staff, so we're looking for reporters in character and on the forums. We're looking for reporters who want writers really, who want to write about the game, or they want to write about gaming in itself. Gyrox is doing a lot of the new games that are coming out, not just Guild Wars, but a lot. Like, he's going to be doing an article on Lara Croft soon, their new game. And so we're looking for writers who love gaming, and creative writers who love to share stories. So it's really an open forum that can evolve.
All right.
Yeah, really, there's also no shortage of stuff for them to do. We've got, right now on the Tarnished Coast, there's a event being planned with Jack the Ripper. There are other events that are going on which involve crime syndicates and things happening there. There are other events occurring which are involving armies and things moving around that way, training and such. So there's no shortage of stuff to report on, and getting your character involved in those events and being a reporter is just cool. Gives you access and a reason to be there, and you get to do something with the information you find out.
Fantastic.
Actually, that is one of the best things. Even if you aren't heavily participating in the role play of the guild, I have done this myself many times. I've been running through one of the capital cities and I'll see a massive group of people just wandering off going to do something, and I will throw the guild tag above my head, which is news, and I'll just tag along onto their event and associate myself and talk my way in. And really, you could have an event every night of the week with the news tag because people want their name in the paper. Yeah, pretty much. They'll bend over backwards to do anything to get it.
Awesome.
That happened to my character the other night as well. I was running through an area with my in-game sister and came face to face with a mob. Turns out there was a whole gang war happening. So my character stuck around, threw the news tag up, threw the hover camera out, and started taking screenshots and keeping track of the information, and that turned into a couple articles.
Fantastic. And how do you guys produce the articles? Just randomness, or is there like a structure behind it, or how do you guys go about doing that?
Well, I mean, there are a lot of guilds who get in touch. They'll send us a PM on the forums or in game, and someone talking to me. Hello, William. I'm sorry, I can't talk to you at the moment. They'll send us a PM out of game, and they'll invite us to come along to their event, or it'll happen naturally, and we'll be wandering through, like we've just said, and we'll pick up the event that way. But a lot of reporters, they like to do guides, so we've got a chap who does a bullseye guide, and he is very funny, and he's a creative writer, so he wanders off around Tyria, has a load of fun, takes a load of screenshots, throws all that information at me. I get a few screenshots and some text, and then I build the edition from that. So scratch up, and I've made templates in it's all done in Photoshop and InDesign, and I throw it together from the text that people give me.
Oh, fantastic. Well, let me be one of the first people, and I'm going to throw a plug in here for our own event. Sorry about that. The Black Star Radio is hosting our 1-year anniversary, and we're going to be doing a event in Guild Wars 2 on the Maguma server, the North American Maguma server. So you guys are more than welcome to come along and participate. We're going to be doing something called the Naked Asuran Run, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic.
I would love to guest over and come in and to watch all the naked Asura running around.
Yes, it's going to be quite phenomenal.
Romper suits are us.
Exactly. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Sorry about that for impeding.
Was it just me, or did anyone else get a very disturbing picture in their mind with running Azura?
Oh yeah, it's actually I've got a YouTube video which I'll pass along to you guys so you guys can check it out. It's somebody on a different server who one of our members came along and saw it on YouTube and was like, "Oh my gosh, we should do that," and has become part of our 1-year anniversary event. So it's going to be quite interesting to say the least.
No, we would be absolutely thrilled to cover any events you guys do. We'll do a special edition for you.
Woohoo!
All right. So, anything else for contact? We've got the website, which is, in case you guys missed it, it is theCrichtonHerald.engine.com. and that's enjin.com. In case you guys don't know what that website is, there's also the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/The Crichton Herald, if I'm correct.
Hopefully. It is. There is some horrible numbers afterwards, but you will get the Crichton Herald if you just type that into Facebook.
And then for Twitter, it's just at Crichton_Herald.
Yeah,
if I'm
that's
correct
right.
on that one. All right, fantastic. We are going to have one more mic break after this with some more interview questions because we've got a few more. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to submit those. We do have a few, but I'm going to save those to the end. So anything else that you guys want to say before we kick it back here to the music?
No, just a big shout out to Guild Wars 2 RP, which is the main site which supports the role players on Pycon, Square, and Tarnished Coast. They do a fantastic job of helping to help all the RP guilds communicate, and they have been really, really helpful to us. So, just a big thank you to them.
Yes, I am part of that as well.
Are you? Oh, they're really great. Dagny does a fantastic job.
Yes, it is an amazing site if you are into RP. Alright guys, so we are going to kick it over here to the music, and we will be back here in about 20 minutes to finish up the interview. Don't go anywhere, guys. You guys are listening to Black Star Radio, and this is the special edition of Ladies' Night. Stay tuned.
You are listening to Black Star Radio. You're the reinforcements you'll have to do.
Alright guys, we are back once again. Welcome back everybody. We were just chit-chatting about some website stuff and how they're releasing the new articles for the Crichton Herald and Fornax. Why don't you go ahead and let everybody how you guys are proposing to do this instead of just picture images on Facebook and stuff.
Well, we're thinking about having an app for devices, Android and or iPad or iPhone. So that is something that we're looking to do in the future. And we're also using a slightly different formatting at the moment for editions that are over like 3 pages long. We actually use a piece of technology on a website called Issue. So it enhances the readability of the longer pieces and gives a more actual magazine feel rather than just images on a screen.
And it's very cool. Flips the pages and it makes a little noise and you're like, oh, I'm reading a magazine on my computer.
Yeah, it's lovely. We've had quite a lot of positive feedback about it. We're actually, at the end of each month, I'll be compiling in the next few days, every issue that we've created for the month will be put into a single edition of Issue so that you can scroll through for the whole month of February everything that we've done.
Oh, fantastic. That'll make it easier for me as well to put it up on the website. Be like, just click this link and you can see the whole month.
There you go. Everybody's happy.
Fantastic. That's wonderful. Alright, so since you guys are getting a lot of press and a lot of public knowledge for your thing, what are you guys hoping to accomplish in the future with your Herald?
Well, there have been talks going around, and we have been talking about, like Fornax said earlier, perhaps expanding it to other games. I mean, obviously more games will be released in the upcoming year, more MMOs, and who knows, if possible, if people enjoy the Crichton Herald, let's hope we can expand those universes as well and make it one big community, making role players everywhere get in contact with each other through something like the Herald.
I think that's a fantastic idea. There's so many role players out there in so many different games, and to breach that, well, you're a Guild Wars player and I'm a WoW player, how dare you, would be an excellent thing, I feel at least.
Exactly. I mean, role players usually go for the stories, and whether it's going to be in Guild Wars or World of Warcraft or even Star Wars, a good story is a good story, and role players will always appreciate that.
Awesome.
And on top of that, role players often have very good stories themselves that they want to tell, and the best way of getting those stories across to a wider audience is for people to put submissions into the Herald for Guild Wars.
Absolutely. I mean, with Elder Scrolls coming out as well, which is such a rich and diverse universe, and then hopefully at some point Arch Age, which Gyrox reviewed recently, will be coming over from, I think it's in Korea specifically at the moment, and
Yeah.
that's a marvelous game, isn't it?
It has a lot of potential. Yeah. From a role player's point of view, it has a lot of perspective. So, but since it's not released yet in neither America or Europe, we will have to wait and see if they can make through what they said.
Absolutely, but Neverwinter, I know that they're expanding, and there's Age of Wushu and Wildstar, who have already. I'm actually on a couple of the Wildstar forums, and they're already expressing a real interest in taking up the kind of the fan fiction RP news side of things, and they're really embracing it. So you'll probably see us. I think specifically in the near future, going into the Elder Scrolls when it releases, and Wildstar, and who knows? I mean, if the fan base wants us and the RPers want us to come over and support their roleplay and support their fan fiction, we want to be there for them.
Fantastic. So how do you guys feel as a community as a whole? Do you feel as if the role players are responding well to the type of thing that you guys are producing and they're super excited for it, or are you getting some naysayers, or how is that going for you guys as well?
Well, I'd say for what I've heard, I've never heard anything naysayed against it, and only positive, because now, again, some of these other guilds are going, hey, do you have a reporter handy for this? We're doing this event. So to me, that shows that they're embracing.
We do have a question here on the Tumblr page for you guys, and they want to know how you guys feel about the character creation in Guild Wars 2, because from what they're saying is in other games you have more options for your role-playing, to where Guild Wars 2 seems a little bit more limited. How did you guys feel as you guys were creating your characters for your roleplay?
Well, I'll take this one for starting off. When it came to creating Jaden Saren, I had my twin brother to help me, as it were, in-game, not real twin, and the two of us spent roughly around 2 hours tweaking absolutely everything that was available there. And even so, I thought the character creation on Guild Wars 2 was so much improved on what was in the Old Republic. But for me, it paled in comparison to what was available on City of Heroes. But yeah, at the moment, I think Guild Wars 2 character creation's not too bad. The one thing that is lacking, as far as I'm concerned, is town clothes. Having everybody with the same set of clothes, male, female, whatever race you are, you're stuck with the same set of clothes, and unless you're forking out gems to buy some of the specialised costumes, everybody's stuck with the same look, and it starts to get a bit difficult if you don't want to run around in your normal adventuring gear, as it were.
Well, to go back to the character creation, at first, I have to admit, with Guild Wars, I wasn't too disappointed, but I wasn't going like, yeah, this is highly detailed. For example, I made the characters in Age of Conan, which were very detailed. Then I tried it in the Secret World, and since I was used to the whole Guild Wars character creation, I got disappointed. It took me a long time to get something I was disappointed with. So you can't say the character creation is a bit on the downside, but it's just a matter of perspective to what you compare it to. But well, I think ArenaNet did a pretty good job. They could have made it a lot worse, so I'm happy with it.
For me, I mean, yeah, I like it. As a female gamer, I think that they do a lot of the nubile female to kind of cater to the pocket mining demographic of the young teenage boy, along with the armor, which is. I think I described the starting armor as a demented cheerleader set. I mean, the garter, yes, because that's what you wear, going to the shops. But I don't know, it was all right. I mean, they're very slick and they're very clean looking, but there's not enough kind of diversity. It's nubile, new young perky girls all the way, and men, you know, with six packs, and it's not that I want to play a fat Jedi again, which was quite fun, but it's just a bit of diversity, a bit of a sliver of reality would be nice. But I mean, I miss the kind of realness, the real depth that they could have in games. You know, real seasons would be fantastic. As Kai said, real choice. I mean, they could milk the cash cow of town clothes. Oh my goodness, I mean, I'm surprised their accountants haven't strangled them yet to do it, because people would pay for the diversity, especially in the roleplay community, for the armour. So it's alright, it's a bit too generic and a bit too perky for me, but, you know, I don't know. You know, you're a female gamer, I mean, come on. I mean, armour with a midriff showing, I mean, what is the point?
Yeah, they're you know, the typical female gamers always like, well, why is this? Why, you know, yeah. But I think...
mean, I'm a tank. Why do I need my cleavage out? Do you think that my cleavage has some sort of special armor of its own that it bounces swords off it? There's no force field there.
And when you look on Facebook and you see in the gaming community pages on Facebook, there's a lot of jokes about the male armor being from head to toe and the female armor is like 90% not there. But it has more armor than what the males are wearing.
Mind you, there is a horrific new MMO coming out. I don't know whether you've seen it. I think it's called Scarlet Blade, and oh my goodness me, it's wow. You should really have a look at that. It's astonishing.
Sounds like my kind of a game, really.
Yes, mammaries all the way. Yeah.
So what was that called again?
So the next Tumblr question is, as a role player, do you feel as if your role-playing character is like your alter ego? Or is something that you're wanting to be in real life, or is it just something you enjoy playing?
I think for me, I mean, generally a role player in these games have just one character. But for my main, certainly it is somewhat of an alter ego, but there are certainly other parts that you get to explore in an MMO with a character that you can't do in real life.
Well, for me, it's like I watch a lot of movies. I read a book every now and then, and you come up with stories of your own. And the role-play character is you put a little bit of yourself in and what you try to accomplish with that character, and just try and figure out this character's story. So for me, it's not really an alter ego. It's a character, a story I want to get to know and see where it leads. That's what my role-play character is to me.
I guess, I mean, I'm not 6 foot tall with, you know, gravity-defying breasts and long golden hair. I'm if only, you know. So I guess to a certain extent, it's kind of, I wish I were tall, you know. I'm never going to be tall, so I get to be tall in game and look down on people. So I guess that's kind of wish fulfillment. Although in real life I never have to duck. But I guess I like it from the story point of view. I think for me, it's the game is the exploration, the story that the design crew want you to get. I love that side of it, and I love making the stories. So I like to make characters who are interesting, who I would want to communicate with. I don't want some. For example, in Star Wars, my character was actually a recovering alcoholic, who's sort of battle injured from all the conflict that they'd gone through and the horrific training practices. So I guess it's kind of like a literary tool for me, because although I do RP a lot in game. The main RP and the roleplay that I feel most comfortable with is the written stuff, the stories and the journals. So they're story devices and ways to kind of explore the universe for me.
Well, I've had different versions of Kristar since I first created him 25-ish years ago for a second D&D game, and throughout my role-playing tabletop career, certainly, I've used Kristar in one form or another and just moved his story along. When West End Games released Lords of the Expanse, the Star Wars role-playing game, I managed to take the D&D character and meld this concept of a young man who was noble born, but he was torn between his duties to his noble family and his duties to the Jedi Order, which when the Old Republic came out, I was able to take that exact concept, tweak it to fit the Old Republic, and I had 8-9 months worth of absolutely brilliant fun, twisting a few things here and there, especially within the realms of believability. I can't think of many 17-year-old Jedi Masters that were running academies at the time, but you know, role players will let stuff go and you'll just move along with it. But when it came to creating Jaden, he was created alongside Jared, and the communication process that we had between the two of us when we were creating the twins didn't just revolve around how they looked, how they acted. We picked up something from the Guild Wars 2 forum, which enables you to kind of expand your character, giving background, how they feel about the gods, what foods they like, what happens if they find a dead body, all of this kind of thing. And we sat down, I think the character creation process that we went through before we even got in-game, to tell a decent role-playing story as to how these twins were able to do what they could do, took us maybe 2 weeks.
Okay. So the next question that we have here is, how do you guys feel in Guild Wars 2 how you're not able to have a first-person view? Does that bother you, or have you guys worked around it, or anything of that nature?
I'm a screenshot-aholic. I've filled my screenshot folder about 4 times now, and it is head battering that I have to maneuver myself, plant myself in walls, sit down, jiggle around, and basically contort myself to try and get a shot where I'm not in it, or a shadow of me isn't in it because I'm pressed up against something. And yes, it's very infuriating. Yes. See, I'm being good. No words.
Oh, that's alright. We have a filmmaker friend of mine who, she is constantly complaining on her Facebook about how she's trying to make this machinima video of Guild Wars 2, and it's absolutely, positively infuriating. I'll take your word. And, can't seem to maneuver herself to where she's not in it.
What we need is the people who made the WoW model viewer to make one for the Guild Wars, and then she could do her machinima, which is how I did my machinima when I did some WoW machinima, which was truly epically terrible, by the way. And if anyone wants to look, it's Fornax 1066 on YouTube, and it's horrific, terrible stuff. But yeah, we need somebody in the world make a model viewer for Guild Wars 2, please, and machinima people will love you forever.
All right. Go ahead, Garrick. Sorry, I didn't mean to
No,
cut you off.
I was just going to say that I do believe that every person who tries to make decent screenshots does find this very, very annoying. Don't think modern people would disagree to that.
Okay, and then there's the second part of this question. This person played Guild Wars 1 and noticed that there's a bit more of a role-player feel to Guild Wars 2 than there was in Guild Wars 1, meaning there's the emotes and stuff like that. They want to know if you feel as if ArenaNet did a fine job with catering to the role-playing community in this game compared to the first one.
Well, if you compare it to the first one, I say yes, it is an improvement. But there are still a lot of things missing. But that my personal opinion is that there are still a lot of things missing. There could be more emotes. Actually, sitting in a chair would be highly appreciated. Again, also in this game. And like Chris mentioned earlier, only have one set of town clothes is just, it's not fun having your character run around in either the same outfit that everyone else can wear, or in my case in full plate armor, which is not great to roleplay in every now and then.
Yes, but you've got a spangly sword that you swing around as well.
Which I cannot use in characterly because it's a sparkly giant sword which can you look at the sky.
I'm writing the plot so you can have the sword.
So actually, your viewers should know that they are actually in the presence of someone who has a legendary item. Gyrox. Everyone should be awed by his presence. He has the sword.
I'm jealous.
It's actually, if you hear the story how I got it, you will actually be more jealous because a real life friend of mine, he gave it to me.
Oh, really?
He did all the work, he got the entire sword, and then he just gave it to me.
Oh my goodness.
And they're not even friends with benefits. They're just normal friends.
A friend of mine just got the bow that shoots unicorns out of the Mystic Forge.
I'm so sorry.
He's like, oh my god, I'm not walking around with this gay thing, and then gave it to another friend of mine. I was super jealous.
Yeah,
and
he got me stuck with Twilight. Oh, the horror.
Hey, he gave me 25 gold before he went. I was happy with that.
Alright, and there's one last question here from Tumblr. They want to know, if they contact you, how long does it usually take to get a response about you guys being at one of their events, and does it matter which server they're on?
A response normally within about 6 hours, depending on the time difference. So if you're in North America and you're talking to me, you've got to remember that I'm 5 to 8 hours time difference to you guys. And no, it shouldn't matter because of the guesting. Because I have a character on both continents. I can guest in Europe and I can guest in North America, and also we have teams. Larissa can guest, I guess, anywhere that is required. with some notice. So and the turnaround from when you hand me your story to when you get an edition can be as little as a couple of hours if I'm not busy. So these things can get kicked out very, very quickly. I'm actually getting into trouble from Larissa for doing it too quickly sometimes.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, again, everything, you gotta remember people have real life jobs and various other things as well. But I would say that a courteous response will be back right away, at least letting you know what can or can't be done and how soon something could be.
Awesome. All right, so I believe that is it from the Tumblr side. Stewie, do you have any more questions for them?
I don't. You know, I'm actually enjoying this, and I mean, this is awesome. We need to do this again.
Well, when we launch our next website, we'll come back on if you like.
Yes.
We can talk about gravity-defying boobs again. Hooray!
Oh.
Although they may have to do it much earlier in the day.
Yeah, definitely.
That'd be nice.
I definitely won't plan it for 4 o'clock in the morning, your guys' time, I promise.
I'm staring at a clock and it currently says 5:21 a.m.
Oh my. Actually, I just got poked with one more question. They want to know, have you ever thought expanding your Herald over to Second Life?
I haven't, but if there's an audience and you guys want us to go, pop over to the Herald website. There's a readers section. There's forums you could use, but people are allowed to spam. Let us know where you want us to be. We really do. We're reactionary. If you guys want us to be somewhere, please let us know, and we'll do our best to accommodate you.
Yes, because Second Life is a role player's dream game, from what I understand. I've played it a little bit. Oh, yes!
The last couple of years, but it was excellent.
And there was one question on the whole list that I have not asked yet, which I'm surprisingly shocked. And that one would be, which one is your favorite article/story so far?
Who's going first? Do you want me to go? I'll go. Seeing as I kind of poked you with this. It's a shameless plug, really, for the guy who plays my twin, Jaden. Jared, even. He wrote a piece under his writing name of Ryobi, and Fornax put it out with the title of Let Thy Fallen Be Remembered. For me, it stands out from all of the events and stuff that goes on, because it's about two faceless, nameless NPCs who died during a 3-person RP that was going on, and his character, Jared, was so emotionally struck by this that he went to the Herald and, you know, gave his story on what happened to these two people and wanted their names to be remembered, and Fornax put out an absolutely wonderful piece of news for the Herald using what Ryobi had written, and it just stands out in my mind that when I first read it, I emotionally felt something, which from everything that we've got, it's the only piece which has really sort of reached out to me and said, you know, there are consequences to everything that we do. Everything's not light and joy. People die, as they do in real life, and for an in-game piece, for me, this one stands out.
Well, I'll go second. One of the best pieces I've read was one of the newer ones. It was regarding the trial of a noble crime lord, whatever you want to call him, and it was, I believe, 3-4 pages, but it was so well written, and it it just put the details in there so good that you actually knew everything that happened in that trial, and it was just a very good story and very well written. So that was one of my favorites, and of course the artwork Fornex used was again amazing.
I know the chap who wrote that, who writes for us, he actually had his own paper called the Memorial, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, he was running a paper, and when we kind of came on the scene, I didn't know that this paper was up and running. The Piken Memorial, that was what it's called, run by a lovely chap called Gaunt, and he is actually, it's a bit of a busman's holiday for him because he is actually a professional reporter, and he was running the paper and he liked the style that we did it, and he decided to close that paper and come and write for us. And he's totally freelance, and we totally love him, and he is absolutely fantastic guy, and he produces some fantastic articles. So yeah, big plug for Gaunt. And we've even spawned another newspaper, and I'm probably going to get it wrong, and Nighthawk is not going to be very happy with me, but it's something to do with the Ebonhawk something. I'm sorry, and he's doing that on the Tarnished Coast as well. He's a lovely chap, so we're happy to have like other newspapers, and I've offered him all the support and resources I can to help get that paper going. But for me, I'm actually enjoying one of the newer pieces that have been produced. One of the Bullseye guides, I think, are hilarious. A lot of the stuff that we do is quite serious, and it deals with quite emotive topics, because obviously the big arching storyline of Guild Wars 2 is fairly sad, and there's lots of death. And the Bullseye guides are just this drunken woman going around mapping places and generally making a fool of herself and drinking copious amounts of alcohol, and it's just nice. It's a nice change, and the chap who does that, he's actually just come on board, and thanks to our proof reader Calandra, who is also wonderful, and so I'm really pleased that we've got some comedy now as well.
Yeah, one thing that I would just want to add about all of the submissions and work and everything that we've had from everybody since we started this, obviously we wouldn't be here without everybody in the RP communities on Piken Square and Tarnished Coast feeding us role-playing events that guild masters, guild members are putting on and throwing and running around every day, and then saying, oh, we've got this really great story, can we have it in the Herald? We wouldn't be here without those people. We probably wouldn't be here if, we hadn't have had this very small start as a small guild news page update. So without the community, really, we wouldn't be here. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank everybody who has either read an issue or submitted something, because you've kept Fornax busy, you've kept us busy as proofreaders. Keep it coming.
Yeah, I totally agree with all that. And Fornax has been doing a fantastic job. No matter what gets thrown her direction, she turns it around, makes it look good. She has until recently done a lot of the editing and stuff with it. Fortunately, Calandra can help out with that. So she's been turning out fantastic pieces no matter what gets turned into her. Sometimes it's pretty good stuff, sometimes it's really good stuff, but she makes it very presentable. So that's awesome. The articles mentioned so far have been, I think, largely from the Piken Square server, but there's been a couple as well from Tarnished Coast. One of the ones that stuck in my head was the Penhart reception, which was the New Year's charity reception. And
Uh-oh, did we lose her?
Sorry, Kadriana turned in that article, and it was about a Dolyak wandering around a noble's party, leaving little presents behind. and how the ministers at the party were taking exception to that. And it was so well written. I remember having tears rolling down my eyes on this thing. So for myself, we get a lot of dark natured sort of stories, a lot of drama, intense stories. It's also nice to have these lighthearted ones like this. Another person that writes for the Tarnish Coast is Rage, and she does a lot of stuff with entertainment areas. So she's been following and participating in ongoing live on the server plays, and then writing about the events around that. So that's the last little thing was the newspaper that was called the Ebon Hawk Recorder, and yeah, that's based out of Ebon Hawk. And again, a very big fan of ours, and he's covering a lot of stuff in that area. So there is more than enough articles and stories to keep everybody happy.
Fantastic. Yeah, that one you mentioned, Larissa, is my favorite as well.
Oh, could I just shout out to Emeralda? She's our office manager. Every week on Tarnish Coast and on Pike Square, we're going to be having an open office where members of the community can come along and interact with some of the staff members in game. It's going to be happening every Tuesday from the 19th onwards on Pike Square. Larissa has yet to kind of set up the dates for the Tarnish Coast, but once a week we're going to have a few hours where people can actually come and interact with the staff. So please come and show your support, come and throw us some stories, or come and just give us a load of crap about how we've slurred your good name in the paper. We want everybody to come, and please send in your angry readers' letters. We love publishing people who hate us. It's great.
And we do like to do retractions.
We do. We love retractions. We have lots of retractions. Please, more. Just the only thing we won't actually promote. There's a couple of gentlemen's clubs that have popped up on the servers, and we can't really support that. If it was an 18+ game, yeah, we would be fine. But there's kids on the server that they're kind of 12-year-olds, and there's a strange ERP community that does pop up every now and then, and we can't. So you guys, you pocket mine on your own time. We can't do that. I'm sorry. Have fun.
Alright guys, so I want to take this time and thank each and every one of you for taking time, even early in the morning, for coming on and doing this interview with us. It's really been a privilege.
Oh, thank you so much for having us.
Alright.
Yes. My coffee machine is almost empty.
Oh no, a whole pot!
How are you gonna go and hold an interview with people at 5 o'clock in the morning, Kelly?
I'm just special like that.
You mean 6:30?
Yeah.
So thank you once again. Again, guys, if you guys want to get in touch with the Crichton Herald, you can check out their Facebook page, which is, and I'm going to get this right this time, facebook.com/pages/The Crichton Herald with a whole bunch of numbers. And then you can also get them on their Twitter, which is @Crichton_Herald, and on their website, which, let me scroll up here, is thecrichtonherald.engine.com. You can also access any of their papers/links on our website as well, underneath the gaming section. And once again, guys, Kristar, or Chris, oh god, I'm gonna mess up your name already.
Yeah, Kristar.
Kristar, okay. Fornax and Gyrox and Larissa, thank you so much for coming on today and taking time out of your busy schedule. And we hope to have you guys back on here soon.
Thanks for having
Thank
me.
you.
Thanks.
I'm going to bed now.
Alright guys, we've got the final block of music coming up, and then followed behind us is Elizabeth Drake. So don't go anywhere, guys. You're listening to Black Star Radio. Woo!